Welcome to the Selling to Survive podcast. I'm Brian Maxwell, and as we enter into 2018, I want to talk about something. You know, a lot of videos are being put out, a lot of books are published and have been over the last few years that really focus a lot on closing the sale. And as we start a new year, I want us to really start thinking in a different way as we really go deeper into the era of the customer. Now, with all these books and all of these teachings and everything focused on closing the sale, we got to come to the realization that the consumers, us, ourselves, because we are consumers, have all become far better informed. Now, I don't say more intelligent. I'm cautious with that, but we are far more informed. We all walk around with computers in our pockets. So, you know, there may be times that a salesperson may find themselves trying to do some type of a tactic with a customer, and that customer may say, I know one guy at one of the dealerships that I went out to, he said he went to go use a tactic, and the customer said, what is that, the alternative close? You know, and when things start getting that predictable with us as consumers or the customers coming into your dealership, then we got to start looking at different ways. And I will say that the automotive industry is one that we really should be extremely excited for everybody that's in this industry, because, you know, the transition, or should I say the change in paradigm, it is happening. It's happening a lot slower than other industries, but you are seeing the change, the transition to where people are being far more focused on customer experience and building value, and realizing that when we're engaging with the customers, okay, as opposed to focusing on closing the sale, let's start think about how can we make it easy for them to make a decision when that time comes. So as opposed to focusing on closing the sale and overcoming objections, what if we started doing things like blocking the objections before they coming up, or should I say eliminating or really reducing the objection before it comes up? And let me explain what I mean. Let's really think about it. Unless you are a green PM, brand new to this, you pretty much know the typical responses or concerns that people have. What are they? Let's go through them. The monthly budget, which is the monthly payment. The overall investment of the vehicle, total cost, or should I say total price of the vehicle. The features, is it too difficult for them to use it? They want to talk to their spouse. They want to think about it. What are some of the other common ones? I mean, if you really think about it, there's only 4 or 5 that people really use before that camouflage what the real concern is. So with us knowing that, as we go into 2018, let's start thinking of a different approach. In order to really reap the benefits of the business, you have to be willing to commit yourself to it. I say it all the time that people have $100,000 a year taste buds, but $10,000 a year work ethic. You know, statistics and studies show that 90% of salespeople never read a book on sales, never attend a training on sales, never listen to any type of audio book or programming about sales, but yet wonder, why are their results so inconsistent? How come they can have success one day or 1 week or 1 month and then fail and struggle for so many other ones? And it all comes behind learning how to create a process and doing it consistently. It's no different than being a basketball player or a football player. Through repetition, you develop muscle memory. And through that muscle memory, you develop confidence. And through that confidence, things just continue to flow. So what you want to start doing is really sit down and think about, what are the objections? Write them out. What are the most common 5 objections you get? The top 5 objections that you get, right? Think about them, write them down. And then let's think about how we could bring them up in the process, okay? At a point in the process, because when we bring up an objection, we have the opportunity, we control it, we own it. So when we bring up the objection, we can bring it up so we can point out what the objection is, and then we can also go into the solution for that objection. We control it. But when a customer brings up an objection, now we're backpedaling, we're having to explain. And I heard a wise man say many times that in sales, when we're explaining, we're losing. Because that means that the customer has asked us something or said something that's got us backpedaling. And when you think about it, at most dealerships, you hear this ABC always be selling and things like that. Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross, and everybody chanting this and chanting that. And that's fine. But that was way before there was a social media. That was way before there was an internet. And so this ABC always be closing. If it's a small ticket item, okay. If it's a small ticket item, that might work. But when you're talking about a bigger ticket item or something that's more technologically advanced, it requires more of a partnership. And that's really what it is, because that's time that you'll never get back. And guess what? You allow that customer to leave, you put them at a 50% chance of being ripped off by somebody else, because you're going to do them right. So the best thing that you can do is do everything you can to give them a good enough reason and to make it easy for them to do business with you. So let's go through an example of how you bring up an objection, you control it, and then you present a solution. Now, we all know that monthly payment is a concern. Okay, monthly payment is a concern for a lot of people in today's economy. But salespeople are afraid to bring that up, as if that's not something that every customer thinks about. But I tell you, by you not bringing it up, you allow the customer to bring it up later in the process, and guess what? Now you're backpedaling, explaining, and sometimes coming off defensive, as opposed to knowing, okay, monthly budget or monthly payment is a concern. Let me go ahead and let me tackle this. Let me bring it up, control it, and own it. What you may say is this: Mr. Customer, most of our customers had a monthly payment in mind when they came in, but were willing to spend a little bit more if they got a whole lot more in return. If I could show you the same thing, are you at least willing to hear exactly what it is that's in it for you? What type of monthly payment are you hoping to stay around? Up to what? Now, as you go with the customer, you ask them, hey, listen, you brought it up, okay? Most of our customers had a monthly payment in mind when they came in, but were willing to spend a little bit more if they were able to get, see a high amount of return. If I can show you the same thing, are you at least willing to learn more? Okay. Now, at this point, we brought up the objection, which is the monthly payment. Okay. And in a lot of situations, what we find is that when people don't buy, if they have a need, then you have the vehicle. They have some features that they're looking for. It comes with that. They have a monthly budget in mind, and we're talking about it's just a few bucks off, and they don't buy. In almost every situation is just because they don't understand. There are cases when I hear managers saying that it's all about price, it's all about price, it's all about price, and it's really not. We have to understand that people have more than just price that goes into their internal buying system. Many people for years have consulted with spouses. They may have prayed about it. People have their own belief system, their own internal buying system when they're making a decision. And it is up to the sales consultant to sit down and to think about, okay, what are some of the most common concerns and issues that people tell me they have when buying this particular product or service? Yes, it requires effort on our part to sit down and really think this through. And when we really think it through, we'll come to the realization that there's really only a few very common things or concerns that come up, objections or concerns that come up. Knowing those, now let's sit down and really think about it. Okay, how can we bring this objection up so we control it? How can we share the concerns that others have had in a similar situation, and then present how they were able to benefit from a solution? And when we bring that objection up and we provide that commonality between them and others, and then we present how we work through the solution, and we get this person to confirm with us that they are willing to do the same, to experience the same benefit, their confirmation, when we get people to confirm verbally, to commit out loud, they are far more likely to keep that commitment with us. Okay? And then just like if we get somebody to write something down, it's even more firm. So when we get someone to confirm with us that, yes, they would like to experience the same benefit as other customers that you've worked with, would they like to learn more information about it? Now, when you go through it, their defenses are down. They're a lot more willing to comprehend and not be so on guard. Okay, which allowed them to be more open with you. Therefore, you can better understand what's going on, so you can present them with a better solution. At the end of the day, that's all we want to do. But we really have to start performing like professionals. Amateurs get paid zero. Interns and amateurs make $0. Professionals make money. So if we want to get paid like amateurs, we practice and we perform like them. We want to get paid like professionals, we have to practice and perform like them too. And when I hear people say natural born salespeople, that just drives me nuts. You may have certain characteristics, okay, and traits that make it easier for you to get into sales and to develop the ability to be good at it. But it requires effort. This is a real art. You know, helping people buy is a skill. The days of selling and trying to, force something down somebody's throat, that stuff is gone. It's about asking the right questions, listening with the intent to understand, focusing on the experience, building value. Will price always be on the table? Of course. But people will spend a little bit more if they feel like they're getting a whole lot more in return. And it's up to us. What is it that we can put value on? Our time is value. What other additional things are we able to provide to our customers or to the people that we do business with that can bring them a lot of value for just a small additional expense? And whenever that happens, whenever it's a partnership and you look at your engagement with the customers like that, trust me, in 2018, in this new year, you'll close far more sales than you did in any previous year. But don't be afraid to bring up the monthly payment. Don't be afraid to bring up people's concern about that, because it's real. Don't be afraid how people many times consider that they want to think about it. But when they realize that, what was there actually to think about, and everything that they wanted was right there, they felt far more comfortable going ahead and doing business. I mean, if I could show you how, we have what it is that you're looking for to solve whatever problem, are you at least willing to learn more about it so you can make a better decision? Learn how to talk with these people. Don't be afraid, but bring up the objections. Therefore, you can eliminate or reduce it before it comes up at the end. Because remember, when you bring up the objection, you control it. You own it. But when you allow the customer to bring it up, guess what? Now we're explaining. And when the salesperson is explaining, they're losing because they're backpedaling. So let's make the experience great for both individual parties, for you, for us, and for the guest, for that customer. It's got to be a win-win, but by no means just give price the power over why your sales go up and down. Because it's more than that. But it's up to us to learn what it is that motivate people to buy. Everyone has different buying motivations. And it's through us sitting down and being skilled. I heard a very talented and excellent sales trainer, expert by the name of Victor Antonio, that says a quote. And he says, good salespeople practice what to say. Great salespeople practice what to ask. I highly encourage you to focus on what to ask to generate more information. The better you understand the people that you're engaging with, the better suited the solution you provide them, the more value and benefit to them you can present. They don't mind spending a little bit extra for a whole lot in return. Remember that. So thanks for listening to the podcast. I'm Brian Maxwell. I look forward to seeing you at the dealership, and let's get this year off to an excellent start.
Does it feel like you were putting in the time at your dealership but not getting the results? Does it feel like you're digging yourself out of a hole every month? Automotive sales is a great career where you can have fun and make a lot of money. But why do so many fail? They fail because they were never taught how to sell. The internet has eliminated just lying to people. Today, successful selling requires skills that most salespeople have never been shown. Until now. If you're tired of stepping over dollars at your dealership to pick up dimes, I invite you to register for Brian Maxwell's free webinar, How to Dominate at the Dealership. Brian Maxwell trains top producing automotive sales professionals nationwide and knows what it takes to dominate at your dealership. In the event, you will receive Closing Secrets of Six-Figure Earning Automotive Sales Professionals, Fastest Way to be a 20-Vehicle-a-Month Producer, How to Earn $10,000 in 60 Days, and much more. Register now and reserve your spot for this free power-packed presentation.
P.S. Before you go, make sure you click the link in the description. Go over to the website. I have some excellent giveaways for you that'll help you immediately start closing more sales, making more money, and enjoying what it is that you do at the dealership. One is 25 closes to help you overcome the objections. Like, I want to talk to my spouse. I want to think about it. Your price is too high. Everything that you deal with on a day-to-day, it's going to be in this playbook to help you. Also, we have the How to Dominate at the Dealership webinar, free webinar that's coming up online right after the first of the year. So when you go to download your book, we'll also notify you when the webinar is coming up. You can look at it on your phone, your tablet, your PC, all of that. You'll get the notifications. Even if you're unable to be on it, we'll still make sure that you're notified and you get the information, but you want to be there because there's going to be some excellent things we're going to be going over. And for those that were fully committed to making their lives better and being on this webinar, I have something that is well over $10,000 that I'm going to be giving to the attendees absolutely free. So make sure you click the link, go over, get the 25 closes, and wait. We're going to be notifying you for the Power Pack How to Dominate at the Dealership webinar coming up right after the first of the year. I'm Brian Maxwell. Salute to you. And again, I'll see you at the dealership.